And welcome everybody to Co-op Guild. This is Steve with an episode of Co-op Corner. So this is for September 2024. So this segment is always I do try to do this monthly, and we're looking at current and upcoming cooperative games releasing this month. So this hopefully brings some games to your attention, ask any questions you guys have. So I see lots of friends here. Oh my gosh, you guys defeated the boss already. That's amazing. Good job, everyone. Round applause. So, well done. Yes, Matt, you did it. Final blow by Matt. So, I've been, speaking of which, I've been meaning to program a ending death scene for you guys. I got a lot of things on my bucket list to finish here. So, see, Jess is here. Welcome, Jess. Nice to see you here. Derek's here. Welcome, Derek. Greg. Rook's here. Let's see, what else I missed. Tim. How's it going, Tim? See, that looks like most people here. Awesome. Hey, Darren. Brad's here as well. Awesome. Elaine. Lots of friends here. Brian, how's it going? Well, okay, sweet. Lots of people here. So, in the past months we always had open Q&A. I'm open to doing that after this coverage of the news. If you guys have any questions, I will be here to answer. If you don't have any questions, we'll just end it early. No big deal. But otherwise, we'll talk through a bunch of cooperative games today. So, without further ado, let's start talking about some of them. All right, so the first one to talk about. This one is coming to, let me pull up my notes real quick. It's coming to Kickstarter September 17th. And that is going to be Aetherspire. So I was looking into this game. There's not a lot of information about it, unfortunately. It's by Phase Shift Games, and this is going to be a cooperative tower defense game where you're actually building, as you can see in the picture, like actual 3D towers. So it looks pretty cool, like elemental towers, and you'll be rolling dice, manipulating dice, trying to stop these other bad guy elemental tokens. Actually, you see them in the picture there. Hold on, I can highlight them real quick with my little tool here. So these here are the bad guys. So you'll be destroying those bad guys by building these towers and stuff. I wish I had more information. I looked for a rulebook. I looked for a lot of stuff. There's very little information about this, but I'm curious what's going to happen when the campaign launches and what if they launch a rulebook or whatever there. So, but yeah, I don't know. The board present looks cool. I like tower defense stuff, so I'll be looking to this a little bit more when it launches. But unfortunately, like I said, don't have a whole lot of information right now on it. But that is Aetherspire by Phase Shift Games. Am I still here? I got an update and I just saw things flash. So hopefully I'm still with you guys. So I think I am. Okay. Okay. That's coming to Kickstarter September 17th. Speaking of September 17th, there is another game, and this game has already been on crowdfunding, but it's coming back with even more content. Yeah, I had a blip. Yeah, okay, I was wondering about that. I saw, yeah, apparently my computer decided to update something in the middle of a stream, so I don't know what it's doing. So I'm sorry about that, guys. So I think we're okay now, so... Computer has a mind of its own sometimes, I swear. Okay, here we go. Next one I want to talk about also is September 17th, but this is on GameFound, and that is Heroes of Might and Magic. So this was already on crowdfunding, but they're coming back. You can get all the previous content, plus they're coming with 3 new expansions with new regions. This game, I've been meaning to try this one out. I want to try to find a way to play this one. It looks really, really cool. I was hesitant at first because in the first campaign, it sounded like there was cooperation, but I wasn't sure how much. And it's a lot of stuff, a lot of components, big ass. So I kind of like veered away from it a little bit. But one of the designers we're talking to from Bad Crow Games, his name is Brian. He played this one, I believe, and he really, really enjoyed it. So I'm curious about this one. I really am. 1 to 4 players. This is basically an open world, like, fantasy adventure, tons of regions, tons of enemies, leveling up, all that fun stuff. It is soloable. Yes, Jess, that's correct. That's correct. It is soloable. Yep. It looks a little bloated to me, but maybe that's my taste. It is very much so. There's Hold on, there's a really crazy picture in here someplace that shows you, where is it? How, here it is. This is the picture. So bloated is probably a good description here. There's a lot of stuff in this game. That's another thing I was hesitant because like if you're gonna like this game, you're gonna have a blast. There's so much there, so much replayability going there, so much to explore. It's kind of like if you like Mage Knight type games, this is going to scratch that same itch for sure. So now I don't know heaviness. I can't answer that at all. But like the theme and like how the game kind of plays, that's kind of what it uh, kind of goes for. So I think Uthia does this better, so I passed last time. Yeah, Uthia is another one that does something similar. That's true. Very true. You love the games back in the day. Yeah, I'm sure they're tapping into that nostalgia for a lot of people who play the video games. So I need to buy a bigger house if I buy that game. It's a lot. But yeah, they're coming back with new expansions. So here's the new expansions. These are regions. The Cove, Stronghold, and Conflux. And so you have new cities, new mechanics in each of them, and then I believe each comes with 2 new heroes as well. So you can get one or all of them. And the nice thing is, if you miss this campaign and you're interested in it, you can get all the previous stuff, including the Kickstarter exclusives from the previous campaign. So this is another chance to jump in case you missed out and you want to get everything for it. So what's it called? This is called Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game. And if you're interested in any games I'm talking about today, if you go to the YouTube description, I have links to all the games we'll be talking about. So you can just click that link and go follow, pledge, whatever you need to do. So I love Mage Knight, but it's the puzzle I love. Yeah, and I want to make sure it's clear about that because, like I said, this has that Mage Knight look and feel, but like if you like the Mage Knight puzzle, I don't know how this is going to compare to that. It might not, honestly. So, but yeah. So, wow, Yogi. Wow, nice roll, Yogi. That was amazing. Nat 20. Sorry, I got put this on screen. That's amazing roll. A nat 20, 32 damage. That's insane. It's insane. Okay, cool. So, but yeah, like I said, this is coming to GameFound September 17th. Okay, next one we'll talk about coming up, and I believe someone on the chat is going to be covering this game who does excellent work, aka Derek from Kenji Studios. So this is called Story of Many. It's coming to GameFound September 24th. So I go check out his stuff. I'm sure he's gonna have amazing content for that one. But yeah, this looks really cool. This is very much an adventure game with narration in it. So if you want to have like this big RPG type experience with lots of lore and reading and like and text and stuff like that. There's game there as well, of course. But like this is going to scratch that itch if you like that narrative factor for sure. So 1 to 4 players, cooperative solo bowl as well. But yeah, this seems like it's got another a ton of content in here. I was trying to go through trying to understand this. I haven't seen the rulebook yet, so I was trying to look that up. But you can create your own characters. It sounds like the interesting thing about this game is the character creation is going to be very diverse. You can, like, every time you build a character, they're all going to be very different from each other. So it looks really, really cool. Who? Never heard that guy. Yeah. This guy, see the comment up here? This is the channel you want to go to and follow, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Go support him. He does awesome work, and he'll be covering this game. So I'm plugging you, Derek. So... oh, you had your second practice play today. Cool. Yeah, so I'm hoping you like it because I know we were talking about it. Oh yeah, the rulebook. Oh yeah, I should have bugged you. I forgot to ask you about the rulebook. So yeah, reading now. I need that foreteller. Yeah. So yeah, if you there's a lot of heavy narration aspect to this game. So if you don't like a lot of narration, probably avoid this one. But if you like open world, you like that lore stuff, this is going to really grab you. It looks really cool. A lot of stuff going on in it, for sure. That means you have the rulebook. Fair enough, Derek. So yeah, I like rulebooks, and so whenever Derek and I sit down and play a game, the first thing I always grab is the rulebook, and he takes care of the rest of the game. So I always like reading the rulebook while we work through games together. So. Yeah, awesome. Okay, but yes, this is like I said, Story of Many looks really cool, honestly. GameFound September 24th. Next game to talk about. I actually will be covering that one. I already have a video recorded. I'm editing it. I'll probably get that done in a day or two here. But this one is expansion for Deliverance, Council of the Fallen. So this is coming to Kickstarter September 24th. And Deliverance is a game where you're controlling angels and fighting against demons. And it kind of plays into two acts. One act is when you're kind of exploring the world, taking care of a bunch of minion demons, and the second act, the demon boss, called the Lord in this game, the Prince. Prince comes out in this game, and you have to take out all the demons another time, and then you win the game. There's a campaign as well, which is really good. The angels themselves, they all are very unique how they play. Lots of leveling up. You can level up with equipment or skills in this one. It's really good. It's a really good game, and I want to say that like the Angel of the Demon theme, if you're not into it, there's a decent chance you'll like the gameplay. The gameplay is really solid. So, but anyway, this is coming back to Kickstarter with new characters, new mechanics, and new enemies, and a new campaign as well. It's bringing in some scenarios from that they've done across the year or so, as well. So, and a bunch of other things that I'm not going to spoil. So, but I have played this with the new stuff, and they know what they're doing. They have a formula. They did an excellent job with Deliverance the first time, and this is just expanding on that formula, and you're gonna enjoy this one, honestly. So, did I finish the campaign? I did not finish the campaign. I played a little bit of it, but no, I did not finish the campaign. So I've talked to quite a few people who did. So hey, Brady, how's it going? Nice to see you here. Um, so, but yeah, this one is really cool. I enjoyed this one. I have like 7 video coming up. I also coordinated with Colin at Meet Me at the Table, and he has a video coming out as well. And so we covered different characters and different stuff. There's new elements to the game. I won't share a whole lot yet because I'm not exactly sure what's okay to share right now, but I loved it. This one was really fun. Really fun. So, need to play this game with you, Steve. You speak highly of it, so I'm interested. Yeah, we should. It's very clean and it works really well. So, like the spooky vibe of the art. Yeah, it's got some cool all the demons are dark in this one, but it's very much a Christian based game. They take a lot of inspirations from parts of the Bible, and you can like the nice thing is they actually pull out on the back of the cards some of the verses that led to the inspiration of these characters and these bad guys and all that fun stuff. But I will say that if you don't like that religious element of the game, you can easily play the game without really feeling that at all, honestly. Um, so just want to put that out there. So Game of Palooza entry, possibly, Brian, very much possibly. So see, Mitch. All these games look awesome. I am so glad there are channels that cover them so I don't waste money on games I would only play once. I am very happy to help you with that, see, Mitch, for sure. It's hard to navigate the stuff, and the nice thing is there's a lot of really good board games out there. I know people talk about needing to be critical of these games and stuff like that, but I think it comes down to just people's tastes. Like some games I will definitely gravitate towards more than others, and I'm going to try to be clear one that like it really hits a lot of my check boxes. It might not hit other people's check boxes, for example. So, but no, this is a really good one. It's a fun one. Definitely check this one out, Deliverance. Like I said, this is coming to, with my notes, Kickstarter September 24th. September 24th. This next game talking about is not coming to crowdfunding at all. It is coming to retail, and I had to talk about this because if I didn't, Kim would kill me. That is Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So this is coming. Oh, wait, sorry, I lied. It is coming to Kickstarter. I lied. It literally says their platform Kickstarter. I don't know exactly when September. I was trying to lock down a date, so maybe this will be pushed out or not. It's from Restoration Games. But I had to mention this one because Kim loves her turtles, and rightfully so. So this one is, if you're not familiar with Unmatched, Unmatched is primarily a competitive game where you're playing as two characters, and then they're pulling from all sorts of different IPs. Like they have Marvel, obviously there's the Turtles here. They have some other characters from like fiction and historical fiction, for example. But the Unmatched Adventures, if you're watching the co-op game, I'm guessing you're interested in cooperative games, and that is where they made it a cooperative experience. So there was already a Unmatched Adventures game where you fought against the Mothman and aliens and another enemy, I can't remember what it was, on this board. And the nice thing is you could grab heroes or characters from any set and play in that cooperative experience. You just need the adventure set. So this is going to be similar to that, where you're playing against Krang and Shredder. And so you could take any of the unmatched sets and bring them in. So if you have like the Marvel set, you can actually bring them in and have some of the Marvel characters fight against Shredder with you in this unmatched adventure. So it's pretty cool. Very, very flexible environment. And if you are interested in competitive, you can actually take the heroes from here, for example, the Turtles, and you can have Leonardo fight Michelangelo, for example. So that's an option for you as well. So not soloable. Ooh, that's a good question, Jess. I did not look into if this is soloable or not. Oh, Brady can confirm. Thank you, Brady. It is soloable. Appreciate it. So I beat you. I know. I'm sorry. I was thinking this is coming to retail because I couldn't find the Kickstarter date. So I was like, this has got to be a retail game. But apparently it says right there on screen. And I just couldn't read it. So that is coming to Kickstarter. Adventures is co-op, you could two-hand it. That's true. You could always two-hand it as well. Yep, that's true. But yeah, that's it. That's what I have for coverage for games coming out. I will do a quick plug. There are two other games that since I'm a little late to bringing this to the channel, two other games came to crowdfunding. One of them is Cyberpunk. This is on GameFound, so this is based upon the very popular video game IP. So I looked at this a little bit, but this is a real-time game, which sounds pretty cool, but I'm not sure. There's a lot going on. I wasn't able to dig into it quite enough. So, but that's this is already funded. This is another big adventure game with the sci-fi theme. So, but yeah, that is out there. The other one I will mention as well is a Mass Effect, so the board game. So there's another one you can check out as well, but this one is already ready for backing. So this one looks pretty cool, but yeah, I haven't dug into this one quite as much yet either. But that, my friends, is what I have to share today. So, hey Remy, oh. The Turtles being available for PvP does make it more interesting. Crowdfunding blackout keeps getting harder. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, got some extras for me? Oh, you do have extras. If you're dropping links, they don't work. Sorry, I have the link shut off, Derek. So, um, I don't know what you mean by that necessarily. Oh, Lands of Gelzir. Yeah, that's true. Land of Gelzir, I didn't bring up in this one, nor did it bring up Scarce. Because I talked about those last month, both those games. But they are currently available now as well. So, a Wayfarer's Tale, I did look into that one, but that one I couldn't confirm if it was cooperative. It is soloable. It's as far as I can tell, it's a roll and write. And at this point, I'm trying to think if there's any roll and writes that are cooperative. Like you can play in like multiplayer solitaire and not like bother each other. That's a possibility, but it's not like actually cooperative. So I didn't actually bring that up for this one. So what's the point in having kids if they won't play board games with me? Yes. Yep, I know it. So luckily my son's still playing board games with me, though the video games are taking over a bit, so for sure. Yeah, that's what I said, man. So I thought it was competitive for sure. That is referring to Wayfarer's Tale. I know it's soloable, but I don't know if it's co-op, so I didn't add to the list. I'm trying to filter this list as much as possible to games that are able to be played cooperative. Because to be frank, like there's what I'm doing here, covering the news of these games. there's a lot of excellent channels out there that do a really, really good job at that. And I am reason why I decided to start this up is because I was filtering down those lists to things that were supported cooperative play. And since I was doing that, and I know that this audience is trying to target towards cooperative games, figured I'd share that with you to help you filter through some of those things. But like I can highly recommend if you're interested in just seeing other stuff. Shelf Clutter, amazing job, and Adam who runs that channel, super awesome guy, super awesome. I'm a big fan of him. I like watching his stuff on news things. Um, and there's plenty of channels that cover new stuff as well. So, oh, actually, speaking of which, let's do Q&A, and I already see a question popping up. Don't be Frank, be Steve. Thanks, right? What are your thoughts about Primal? There's a lot of hype around it, and they will start selling it soon online. So I've had a very interesting experience with Primal, to say the least. So my first ever experience with Primal was Derek and we hopped on remote on Tabletop Simulator, and we tried playing through the demo that was there. However, it was a very difficult experience, and it was difficult in the sense that we were referencing the old rulebook with the updated components in the demo, and it just wasn't working so well. So I was like, oh, bummer. So anyway, we eventually found the new rulebook, and then worked through it a bit, and it kind of made some sense. That's fine. I wound up playing it twice after that fact. Yes, twice after that fact. And both times I played it with actually the last time I played was I'll just point at that one for now. I played with awesome people. I was really happy to play with Colin and Baron from Meet Me at the Table, and Derek from Kanji Studios, and we were all together. We went to we visited Minnesota where they're from. We all played Primal, which was awesome playing with these guys. However, while I understood the game, they were playing the game in such a way to help Derek teach the game because he was going to be streaming on his channel. And so I didn't really have a really good chance to like have time for the game to sink in for me. So while I understand how the card play works, the mechanics work, and it's fun, it didn't grab me yet, to be honest. And so far, boss battlers of that nature have not grabbed me. I like battling bosses in my games, but I'm trying to pinpoint why that is. Like when I like boss battlers, and this game is a boss battler where you're like running around a monster trying to attack from different sides. The card play is very, very cool, and the characters feel different. That's awesome, but it's just not grabbing. I don't know why. I'm not sure. So for me, I don't know. I cannot. It's not a recommend for me yet. At this point, I need to play it more. I need to sit down with it some more. So yeah, but yeah, lots of people love it. Like Derek loves it. Barrett and Colin absolutely love it. A lot of people really, really like it. So yeah, yeah, they were teaching me, and Steve was a consequence. Exactly, Derek. Exactly. So, um, yeah, I had fun playing Primal the one time I played, but I'm not itching to play it again. Yeah, sure. Yep, yep. So yeah, for me, not recommend, but honestly, a lot of people like it. So I wish I could be more helpful on that front. Matt's question: thoughts on Tainted Grail? The new version came out to some hype, but it seems to have vanished from discussions. Tainted Grail is one of those games that I kind of avoided, honestly. I avoided just due to the fact there was some dark narrative elements, which when I'm playing a board game, I don't always read about depressing things in my games, and so I've kind of avoided Tainted Grail for that reason. Um, yeah, so I don't have a whole lot to say about it due to that aspect, for better or for worse. So now your question on disappearing from discussions, honestly, that's the nature of the beast now. I think the board game hobby is so inundated with new games coming out constantly. Like if your game lasts more than 1 month from being talked about, you're doing a great job. Like so, like in my opinion, it's very rare for games to last longer than that first month. So I wouldn't. that to me that is not a negative to any games that happens to. I think that's just like the norm nowadays, and it's just the norm because there's something new that popped up that people are talking about, that people ask questions, and it's a little bit of the hype going on for sure, but it's also a little bit of like this new game came up. I want to know about it because I want to know if it's something I would like. I need to purchase it because the best time to purchase the games is when they are announced and it's easy to get in all that's fun stuff. So that's a unfortunate evil to our hobby space in that sense. Um, Derek has a good comment here. Tainted Grail for me suffers from the typical AR games. That's Awaken Realms. Massive hype then silence doesn't mean it's bad. Just means it doesn't have staying power. Yeah. So Derek's kind of getting back to kind of what I was leaning towards as well. So you've become it's a 40-hour campaign. You become completely broken, overpowered after 30 hours. Oh, did not that's interesting to know, Yogi. So yeah, and just I think the one comment you're saying here, I wish it was such a long campaign that I didn't have time to play, which I had passed on it. Yeah, that's something that I have certainly felt. I've felt that way for the past few years now, where I feel campaign fatigue, in the sense that like I enjoy campaign games just as much as the next person. But the problem is when every game has a campaign, I'm not going to see those campaigns. Like it doesn't make sense for me to even try some of those. Now, some games I want to see them to the end, and for example, Earth Under Siege, I'm playing that one, and I want to see that to the end. So I'm trying to be more particular on which campaign games I go for and cover, just to that nature, because I know I have come to the realization I'm just not going to see all of them. So I tend to gravitate towards standalone games for that purpose, and like a long campaign is very much a negative to me. So was a lot of fun, heavy narratives. Yep, the turnaround on board games is really crazy, and to me it makes crowdfunding and waiting over a year less and less attractive. That is true, because if you're waiting for like a whole year, the game finally arrives. But guess what? Now there's a new game that you're talking about that's on crowdfunding, and like it's got your attention. But you got this other thing that at one point you were excited about, but that maybe some of that excitement wore off. Like that's definitely a factor for sure. Like that might be a good co-op chat discussion. Like, how do you build back up to that excitement you originally had when you saw or when you originally backed that game? So how do you navigate that space? Um, the cult of the new is a strong pull, right? And I will tell you from a content creation standpoint, like running channels, I see it in the analytics. Absolutely, if you want your YouTube channel to grow very quickly, if you definitely follow the cult of the new trend, you will see a lot of growth. Like those, it's very apparent. Um, so I do some of that for sure on this channel, but I also just want to play things that I want to cover and play. So, and for me, I get really excited about finding those hidden gems as well. So there's all those popular games that people get excited about, and they do really really well for channels. But I like finding those other games that people aren't talking about, and the ones and having that connection with like the designer talking to them and trying to work through like all these things that may not have gotten the spotlight. And it's I don't know, that's fun for me. So question: why is MU Marvel United Season 3 taking so long so we can play another campaign? I don't know, Derek. I'm seeing so much content on. I saw the other day that someone was asking about, hey, what about the difficulty levels of these villains and stuff? I'm like, man, I really, really want to do a ranking system, like rank all the villains in Marvel United, and by the time I get it, it's gonna take me so long to get through all the villains and then figure out the ranking system. That video is gonna be so late. I'll do eventually, but well, it's fine. We'll get it. Let me tell you, I finally received the last bits of an 8 years of pledge and still haven't opened. Oh boy, yeah, that's a lot. Buying less helps me keep my excitement going because I have less to compare it to, but that's not always easy. Yes, that's true, Morganite, for sure. Yeah, uh, absolutely, for sure. That's why I backed the Thinning Veil. It's definitely a passion project, and I hope it's great. Yeah, those passion projects, I get it's really fun to see the designers and publishers that really put forth that extra effort to see it through. So I like seeing and being part of that experience with them. It's really really fun. So I agree. I have the multiverse, but want to play with a new campaign. Yeah, we all do, Steve. We all do. Yeah, they're gonna have tried a little bit of the multiverse is because we saw the he's got the core at Gen Con, and we try to stay at the top as much as we can. But unfortunately, we're both East Coast, and East Coast we're probably not gonna get our Marvel United stuff until November. So, yep, that's what it is. So, see, did I miss any other questions here? I avoid campaign games because I know I won't finish them. Yeah, I am with you, Matt. Sure, for sure. So, cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other questions pop up right now. Um, I can share a little bit about plans for coming up on this channel then. Unless I see other questions, we can. Oh, there's another. Okay, never mind. I'll get it in a second. I do see a question pop up here from Derek. What is it about Earth and the Seas that you like? What is I am it's just a typo there. I can talk about what I like about it. So, Earth Under Siege, it's very much XCOM the board game, honestly, and like how it plays and feels, stuff like that. But I have never played XCOM. I have watched XCOM a lot because Kim is very much a big XCOM fan. And I have a lot of fun watching video games. I don't need to play all of them. I just have it's fun for me to watch her play. So I'll watch her play here and there. Just not a whole lot, but a little bit. But what gets me for Earth Under Siege is there are certain things I like to see in games. And Earth Under Siege is checking those boxes for me. So here's one example. Obviously stealth. I'm a big fan of stealth, and that has it in there. Um, One of the things I like seeing in games, so I like seeing it when if I'm having combat against an enemy AI. I like it so that the players are rolling dice, and I'm not having to roll the dice for the players and the enemies. So, for example, if I'm attacking a bad guy, I roll my attack dice. I look at his defense. If I'm over the defense, I do damage or something like that. Cool. And then the opposite is true, meaning that if the enemy attacks me, I don't roll dice for them. They just have a set attack value, and I have to roll my defense value to try to successfully block it. I think that approach to games really cleans up the game experience overall because I'm not rolling. I'm rolling half the amount, honestly. And then on top of that, the variance factor, because if you have two random inputs, the disparity between those min and maxes between those could be a lot higher and harder to control as opposed to just getting one input. You know where the range is. It's much easier to balance it and have a more controlled experience. So that is in Earth Under Siege. Love seeing that in games. Um, the other thing is mitigation. I love checking dice. It's really fun, but I really really like mitigation options and like rerolling dice, changing dice, all that fun stuff. And I like having a variety of mitigation options, and Earth and the Siege has that. Siege has that as well. So I don't feel like I will necessarily lose to dice if it's a critical situation. I can pretty much guarantee at a cost to get out of that situation. Not to mention the characters play differently and all the fun stuff. Um, the missions are fun. The other thing is there's a campaign game, but the campaign itself isn't super long, which I also appreciated. So it's long but not super long. But yeah, it's really enjoying that one. And the theme, I love sci. I really like sci-fi games, and I feel like there's so many fantasy games out there, which is fun. I like fantasy, but I think I have a tendency to gravitate towards a sci-fi aspect more. Oh, the other thing I mentioned too about Earth and the Siege I like so much. No surprise, I like playing support characters. And in that game, support characters have a key role. They feel very useful and needed in that game. And it just, yeah, it's fun. I really like that one a lot. Speaking of which, there is an expansion coming out for that game. I don't know if it's gonna be this year or later. I was actually just talking to the designer about that. It might be pushed out a little ways here, but yeah. So if you're interested in the game, there will be another opportunity to get it for sure. So, uh, You're wrong. You're in multiverse, Kanji. I'm used delivering in multiverse 54256. Dang it! I knew it was wrong spot. So, that's an Infinity Defiance. I don't know what Infinity Defiance is. I have to look that up. I'm not sure. It does seem like they feel needed. Yeah, the support people like playing support. They don't always get the love and attention they need. That's right. So, for sure. Let me look at this Infinity Defiance real quick because I don't know if I know what this is off the top of my head. It sounds familiar, but I don't recall that. Oh yeah, here we go. Let me pull this up. I can pull this up on the screen so everyone else can follow along. Come here, you. Come here, you. There we go. Oh, let me move myself out of the way here. So that's not helpful, is it? There we go. So here's the Infinity Defiance game you were talking about. Crawler, fully co-op. Yeah, this is probably something I enjoy too. I'd have to look into more. I remember briefly looking into it, but I don't know why. There's so many fantasy. There's so many sci-fi crawlers coming out. I'm actually recording one very soon. Terminus Frontier. I also another one I covered on the channel was Phantom Epoch, which was very good as well. So yeah, I had to check this one out. So that's probably something I would enjoy as well. So cool. The people who made Warcrow. Oh, cool, cool, awesome. It's an older game. It's older coach, but they check out. But it scratches the sci-fi itch. It's also interesting to upgrade your character, that's for sure. What excites you about dungeon crawlers and what would make one stand out to you? Oh, good question. Good question, Morganite. I actually only own what I would consider, well, I have dungeon crawler type games, but I have one like big dungeon crawler game, and that's Sword and Sorcery. And the reason why that one stood out to me was the AI. I love a AI system that feels smart and engaging to me. The other game that I is on has a AI system that's on par is Madara. I love the AI system in Madara and Sword and Sorcery. They're actually very similar in a lot of aspects. And I've what got me to that one is the fact like I feel like my positioning mattered in that game, and I had to figure out a different way to approach each enemy. And in Sword and Sorcery, the nice thing about it is enemies often have a random power too. So like even if you fought the gremlin a couple times, for example, or like the skeleton a couple times, who knows what it is. But oftentimes they get a random bonus, like oh now he has a lightning sword, or now he can fly, or who knows what. So now it adds a new puzzle element to the enemy I've been fighting in a while. So I enjoy that quite a bit in that dungeon crawl. So that is a big one for me, which is fun because it's not unique to dungeon crawls. Like other games could have a smart AI as well. The other AI that's really really fun and well done is Gears of War. Gears of War is an old game. I still have it actually. It's on my shelf right here. It has an excellent AI system as well. So, so that is one thing. The the leveling system, I enjoy that quite a bit in games. I think having that variety in there. Admittedly, Sword and Sorcery doesn't have the most robust leveling system, but the powers are fun. The cooldown works. Actually, that's one thing I didn't like about Gloomhaven, to call that one out, is in games, I don't like it when I lose things permanently. And for me, that is a really good way. It made Gloomhaven's powers engaging, like because when you rest, you have to lose a card, and so you're running that down. And how do you plan out your character to like use the right powers at the right times? Like that puzzle element is really fun. I just don't like doing that. So it's not my style of game. I like it so that I can get things back. If it takes me some time or resource to get back, I'm much happier in that regard. So let's see. Let me see what else. Any other questions you have here? Um, I am trying to catch up with some of these comments. I'm not sure what's going on with some of these. A question. Remy says, I'm finally working my way through Hogwarts Battle with my wife and daughter. Do you remember that one? I actually never played that one. I do know the game. Question: deck building game, Dominion or Ascension for the market? Oh, good question. So what you're getting at here is the difference between a random market, I call the river, versus a static market, where in deck building games you have known cards out there, and you can just buy piles from the cards; they never change. Versus a deck of cards that you mix all the cards together and you flip them over and you get a random assortment of them. I actually was wishy-washy for the longest time between the Dominion or Ascension style for the market, the static versus dynamic markets. I am very much in the camp of dynamic markets at this point, and I'll tell you why. I found out, and I think this kind of comes back to my experience with Dominion, where I played against a not recommended. I played against a math professor in Dominion. He played the game forever, like he was played the game all the time. I never beat him. That guy is a genius. So he knew all the strategies and stuff. And what was interesting to start observing is the fact that that market is static, and he knows like what cards can work really well together. He would plan out his strategy initially, and then kind of execute through the rest of the game. And that's fun because you can see your engine work together. But for me, I'd rather have. I felt like the decision space was all front loaded in that game, and I'd rather have my decision space spread out through the game. I want to flip those cards and like, oh, in this situation, one of these two cards is best for me. I'm gonna try this one this time, and then by adding to my deck, I might discover new combos and new synergies that weren't obvious the first time. Plus, like if the market is static, what's my incentive to try new strategies? I know this one strategy worked really, really, really well. So for me, very much in the camp of dynamic marketplace. I really, really enjoy that. Not to mention it has a lot more variety in the game too. So that's where like one of my go-to deck builders nowadays is Marvel Legendary, which very much is that way. Actually, I think all my deck builders nowadays that we play are dynamic markets. Kid to Here's Out definitely is as well. I've looked at the other ones we have. Um, oh, Union City Alliance is also kind of a dynamic market. Yeah, I guess it's a very different market than other games. But yeah, that's dynamic as well. So, let's see. What most commonly makes you pick one game to try over another with so many games coming out? Good question, Steve. It depends on what my motivation is. So I will purchase or trial games specifically for channel. And I will purchase and try games specifically for my likes or dislikes. So in that Venn diagram, ideally those two would overlap, but not always. So I do a little bit of combination of all of those, right? Across the board. Some things I just want to try it out. I will cover the channel because I think I I will go and reach out and try to cover a game that if I'm seeing it's not getting coverage, I want to help provide coverage for that game so that people can get information about it. So there's definitely an element there for that. Um, Now for my likes and dislikes, that's a tough question to answer. Why would I pick up one game versus the other? I think from a generic standpoint is there are some games that fall within my wheelhouse that I will always want to purchase. I'll go on and say stealth. If there's stealth out there, I am very likely to purchase and try it out. Because for whatever reason, that whole theme of sneaking around and taking out guys, I really, really enjoy that. And I feel like I don't have enough of those yet. So that, but outside of something like that, and stealth isn't the only example. Outside of stuff like that, I tend to gravitate towards games that stand out in the collection. Because for me, I want to have a board game collection where I have a game for everybody. So if you came into my house, I want to be able to pull a game off the shelf and have fairly high confidence you're going to have a good time. I don't care what it is. I just want to make sure I have a game that aligns to your taste, to your likes. So that's what drives a lot of my purchasing decisions from that standpoint. So it's a little bit of my wheelhouse, fleshing out that collection, and then covering games for the channel. So it's a little bit of those three. And you guys got lots going on. I really like your play of Dungeon Infinity. Hope you can play it live again to see more of the gear cards. We could try to do that, Tim. Yeah, it's funny because I played Dungeons of Infinity with Kim, and I was asking her, so what do you like it? Do you not like it? What are we gonna do? And she's like, well, I need to play it more. Cool. So yeah, she wants to play it more, but unfortunately she's been traveling, and honestly we haven't had time to play it together again. So, but I do want to play it more. So. Damn. Question: as an engineer, when you read a rulebook, do you conceptualize the rules in 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, or 4 dimensions? I can answer this question. 1 dimension. I say that because I'm an electrical engineer. I work in just 1 dimension. Funny story. So, I oh gosh, it was priceless. I was going to lunch with another electrical engineer and me, and we were working 1 dimension, and we sat down at the table, and he had a bowl. I think he brought the bowl from like I don't know the kitchen or something like that, and he had a cup of soup, and he looked at me. He's like, "Do you think this volume of this bowl is big enough for this cup of soup?" And I look at him like, "Yeah, I think so." And he's like, "Yeah, I think so too." And he just dumps it over. It wasn't. It just overflowed everywhere. So proof of concept that electrical engineers do not work well in multiple dimensions. Just one's enough. So yes, man, I'm an electrical engineer. Yep, that's my background. Yep. And that does explain the coding. So coding and tech. So I like messing around with stuff, and that's why I like having the live space. It gives me a fun avenue to explore in. So so I can call you 1 dimensional and it isn't an insult. Done. That's true, Dan. You won't insult me by saying that. That's for sure. So oh man. Try to have a game for everybody. Is there enough money in the world? I know. It's more like well, it's funny because like if you come over to my house, no surprise, almost all my collection is co-ops. So there's a reason for that because I obviously really love cooperative games. But within the cooperative space, hopefully I have a game for you. So I do have a few competitive games in my collection. So I was in computer science, but I was in mock double code. That is true. Yeah, yeah. I'm not efficient coder. I can get the job done, but in fact, uh, Derek at Kenji Studios, he was curious about my code I wrote for like the boss battle you guys have been messing around with. And I'm pretty sure I made him cringe because there's just a lot of inefficiencies in there. It works, but it's not efficient at all. A fun story though. I was in a double E lab, and I can't remember what the project was. It's not important what it was exactly, but I was trying to figure out why my project wasn't working, and there was a little bit of a time limit. So I was like, "What's going on here?" So I'm going through the code, and it's just not working. And so, luckily, my partner next to me, he finished this thing. He came over, was like, "Hey, need some help?" I'm like, "Yeah, why is it not working?" He's like, "I don't know. Would you call the function?" Call the gosh darn it! I had all the right code. I just never called the function, and just as soon as I called the function, it worked perfect. Yeah, yeah. I can. My coding is I can do it, but it's not pretty. So, so yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, yeah. Derek is really good at code, so for sure. So if you need someone who knows code stuff, definitely a go to for that. So okay, well, not seeing any other questions coming up. Oh yeah, I saw you comment here about the dynamic market. Yeah, that's me too. That's what Remy for sure. Yep. I prefer exploring games than trying to like have a most optimal solution. So a bit of software engineering for 15 years still happens to me time to time. Yep. Yep. Some of the comments I've seen over my years are I've cracked up too. I was working on a hydraulic system, and it had a lot of solenoids and had was dealing with oil, machine oil, all that stuff. Details aren't important, but basically the code I was reading through was solenoid 42 on, solenoid 16 off, blah blah blah. And I was trying to trace through this thing, trying to figure out how it worked, all that fun stuff. Anyway, there was a comment it was like solenoid 27 off, and the comment next to it was, "So Tom don't get wet." Like, there's a story behind that comment. I don't know what that is. So, oh yeah, Tim, for sure. I love seeing comments and code that say you should not reach this code. Exactly, exactly. So, oh, good stuff, good stuff. And I tend to be a patient person, except when it comes to computers. I'm very impatient when it comes to computers, for sure. So, okay. Well, this has been a fun night, guys. I appreciate the chat. So, I'll look at the chat in a little bit here if there's any last questions, but otherwise, I'll mention a couple things coming to the channel. Um, Co-op chat. I need to figure out what's happening this weekend. It's probably gonna be no. It's a little difficult for me to cover to do content at that hour, because I'm in single parent mode for a bit. So until Kim comes back, so probably not happening. But I might try to do an evening stream to make up for it over the weekend. I'm trying to. It depends on how far I get with covering these other games. But next week, my plan is Monday to continue on with Earth Under Siege. Try to do the next mission for that one. And then Wednesday, I was originally going to do Maladum, but talking to the design team for that one, they want to push out another week. So I've got a free slot there. I probably asked for feedback from our supporters, our Patreon and Ko-Fi supporters on what game to fill in that slot. So I'm leaning through some options. Deep Rock Galactic, finally got my expansion stuff for that one, so I'm tempted to cover that. The other one is Invincible. Haven't covered that yet on the channel. Though maybe I should probably wait for Kim for that one. I could always default to Ashes as well, but there's a lot of stuff to cover. So hardest thing in Cody's naming a variable. Nope, my variable names are super long. I didn't have really elaborate names for sure. So all right, I think that's it for tonight. Thanks, guys, for joining the Co-op Guild. I hope you enjoy the Co-op Corner. If you enjoy this type of content, I appreciate a like. And if you have comments below, if you have any questions on the games you saw, or if there's a game we missed, let me know. We'll be back at the plan is at the first Wednesday of each month to cover more news coming up. So a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of good games. But thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time at the guild. Bye bye.